All right, super professional overlay moment here, guys. So I forgot to size up the IEM logo. We'll just put this bad boy right here so everyone knows what it is we're casting. Turn that down just a smidge too to be ultra safe. There we go. All right, so welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters. This is San Jose. Sadly, neither myself nor Kane are at San Jose, but giving you a cast all the way up here from the Great White North of Canada. This is one of the last matches we played out for day 2, I believe. Spawning here in the bottom right corner. It's going to be the blue Terran player, Bomber. Oh, and I got to fix health bars. 1 sec. Sorry, I made the mistake of actually playing this game. Who does that, right? Okay, that's fixed up. You want to intro the other guy?
Yeah. In the top left, we have the Protoss player on CJ Antis. It is CJ herO.
Again, not to be confused with Liquid herO, guys, although we do love them both. CJ Antis herO has had a really good run this year with... just in general, it's really hard to say this because he's not exactly winning WCS left and right. Pop, pop, pop. No dream hacks under his belt quite recently. But every time you see herO play, whether it's online or offline, what I do like is he's very consistent.
Yeah, like when we saw him in Pro League and stuff, he was always one of their go-to players, you know? Like, you could always depend on him to win an important match or an important series.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, we got Bomber, right? Like, and it's not even like a contest to say, like, one guy's more consistent than the other or anything quite like this, but through Red Bull and everything in 2014, Bomber's just had a hell of a year. I expect him to do well here in IEM, and I mean, again, like, he's got to be a little bit favored coming against her. Just, like, even though he's not quite Pulse, it feels like America's almost his home turf with the way Red Bull's treated him.
Yeah, and he has so much experience playing in these foreign tournaments too. Not like herO doesn't have nearly as much, so just like logistically, I would say Bomber has the advantage going in. But herO, I don't know, I would say like 50-50 if it wasn't for that.
This is a really nice move out of Bomber, going for the Engineering Bay block. This is important for multiple different reasons, but I'd say the biggest one is, of course, because he went for a CC first. What this Engineering Bay is going to do is act like a magnet, a damage magnet. You know, the Zealot's going to go on there, the Mothership Course is not going to fly over it. herO has to spend time cleaning this up. So this kind of gives Bomber the time to crank out the Marines he needs at home to make sure that a Zealot, a Stalker, and a Mothership Core don't go from a poke to a game-ending move.
Bomber did lose that SCV, so a bit of a mistake there, but yeah, Bomber's playing really greedy, like the CC first into an Engineering Bay block. He's not afraid of anything right now.
I don't blame him. This is kind of like what I expect out of Bomber, though. You give him a couple of Marines that follow up to this. I mean, with some decent control in a bunker especially, he shouldn't really take too much damage from anything that herO throws at him. I mean, the Zealot's going to go across the map, but the second it sees more than one Marine, I mean, what is it going to do, right?
Yeah, and Bomber's one of those guys who always plays so greedy, but he knows how to be safe versus almost everything. It's always kind of risky to all-in him, because he knows he's been in that situation so many times. He's just used to dealing with small pressures like this.
I like the third Rax Phillip too. It did go gasless without command center opening, so on the back of every Terran player's mind, regardless of this opener, you're thinking like, alright, I gotta make sure this game doesn't get ended by Oracles. I need the Marine production, 6 total, to cover my mineral lines. But it's actually not going to be a Stargate at all. herO has just slapped down a Twilight Council.
What do you think this is for? Do you think this is going to be a blink attack or fast DTs?
If if herO's confident in his control, I gotta say Blink like 9 times out of 10. It leads to the late game anyways. It complements your Colossus later on. DTs are such a risky move, I feel, versus somebody like Bomber. If herO's willing to take that gambit in game 1, I would be really shocked. But we'll see here in just a sec.
And herO, it is Blink. Yeah, herO is kind of known for his Blink play. I know also in Protoss versus Zerg, he always relies on really good control of his Stalkers and just solid Blink play. So yeah, I'm not too surprised to see that.
Well, I mean, as well, if we're gonna be honest, like after watching Home Story Cup Finals, if you're Protoss versus Terran, if you can like replicate what Parting does, I mean, you're gonna have a good time when it comes down to control. So this might not be like an all-in Blink build, but still, that's what I always think about. It's like, man, if you've got the control, you can do just about anything in this game.
Yeah, Blink is a really cool ability. It kind of lets you depend on your control and just kind of outplay your opponent.
Yo, I like as a Zerg player coming into this, like you could say that without bias, but me, I'm like, yeah, Blink's a really cool ability. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Bomber does have his production back up to where it needs to be. As I said before, he's got the Marines to cover his mineral lines, even an engineering bay for turrets if necessary. Again, like every Terran player in the back of their mind, this is like always the checkbox. You have to make sure that you don't die to oracles. Of course, it's not oracles, and Bomber hasn't scouted this. That kind of sucks, but again, the way he's playing right now, he's kind of preparing against everything. Oh, is it blink? Is it not? You know, oh, he's actually this zealot at the rocks flagged up a big red flag. 2 bunkers come down immediately. Yeah,
but those won't be too useful because he is coming from the front here. We see the forward pylon.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a good fallback point, I guess, because at some point, if this front bunker gets broken, and usually one bunker will, you're going to either have to abandon the natural or have a better place to fight, because naked Marines just don't have a good time.
But this isn't even an all-in from herO. Like, there's only 4 gates. So he's just plopping down a robo behind this, and he'll transition. He's getting his 3rd and 4th gas right now.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of pressure. And the thing is, like, this could become an all-in if he sees enough damage off the first attack here. Nice snipe on that Marauder. Sadly, that Marauder wasn't in the bunker.
One Stalker did go down there, like a little bit of miscontrol, but he did get 2 Stalkers kind of get their health off a little bit, so that's okay.
Yeah, the shield scores will generate here pretty quickly out of combat, but you know, the SCVs are pre-pulled. The biggest weakness, I'd say, is if Bomber gets caught off guard in his Marine, but hero's going to try and get that bunker. I will just
he does
get it.
Yeah, Bomber's not taking this lightly at all. He's really reacting to this really well.
You know, he's just got to bide his time here, too. Like, don't overextend. You got Stim Pack coming out in, like, less than 30 seconds. I mean, that's really what you need to shut this down. And herO knowing this, too. Like, there's certain timings you got to look out for. And for him, I mean, maybe decides to invest a little more into this. But as you point out, there is a robo behind it. There is possible transition towards Colossus. But right now, this fight's going really well for herO as he starts this off. A lot of the Marines choke within this time warp. Bomber can't quite get enough SCVs to the front line to soak that damage.
Look at all those Stalkers in red health. Really good control from herO.
I mean, yeah, look at the resources lost. I mean, he's still only lost the 1 Stalker so far. Just click it like one at a time, picking them up, dropping them in the back. There's a Widowmine here in case a blink to the main happens. But, you know, Medivacs are going to be the real nice solution to this. Stim's done, but Stim's no good if you can't heal up that damage. So right now it's been a lot of... ooh, nice snipe. Almost got the Mothership Core first. It's been a lot of back and forth, but once Bomber's got about 2 Medivacs out, he can probably actually push through this. But keep in mind, guys, he's lost quite a few SCVs defending so far.
Yeah, just looking at the resources lost, it's like almost 3k for Terran and only 1k for Protoss. This is going really well for herO. We might just see Bomber kind of fall apart here, but he has quite a few Marauders right now, which obviously do really well versus Stalkers, and those Medivacs are starting to come out.
That's where it's going to get really sticky, though. We do have a Warp Prism set up in the back, a 3rd base on the way for herO. You know, he may not be chrono boosting out 2 upgrades at a time, but man, he's doing quite well here in the early game. Bomber is in a bit of trouble. There's not enough Marauders to really just outright win this.
This is really impressive from herO. Like, this wasn't even an all-in. This is just meant to do a little bit of damage, but we might see Bomber almost just die to this. Looking at the supplies, herO is 50 supply up, or 40 right now.
He's trying to certainly kill a couple of the Stalkers. I don't know if there's a snowball enough, though. Again, the Marauders are not high enough in number, and the follow-up to this is what's so scary. Again, like, okay, right now Bomber's great against these Stalkers. Eventually the Stalkers won't quite win the game. But it's the Colossus going to get behind it. You know, while he's producing these Medivacs, he's not getting out Vikings. While he's not getting out Vikings, he's not prepared for the Colossus follow-up. So this could fall apart for him if he gets stuck on bio for too long.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't see a 3rd CC started right now for Bomber, and herO's is done already. herO's Nexus.
And I just realized, too, with his income being hurt so badly here, he can't actually throw down that 2nd starport. At least the factory definitely can't throw down that 2nd starport, so we're not going to see that 4 Viking at a time production that usually gets Terran players back from being behind in the Viking count.
And now we have Colossus out for herO as well. He's looking really solid in this game. Like, what do you think Bomber has to do to come back into this?
He's got to get some God mode drops off. His back door's exposed, though. There's a Warp Prism waiting nearby. He might not know about this just yet, but I feel like as soon as he moves out of the base, like, herO's just going to strike. This is a really scary situation for Bomber to be in, because you just can't turtle off this. You're behind an entire base to your opponents. They've got the ability to chrono out those upgrades that he's delayed for so long. I mean, again, 1-1 hasn't really, it's only just begun with armor upgrades, but, you know, if herO can just sit back and freely do whatever he wants, he'll take the lead in a big way.
So, do you think herO should just defend? Like, since Bomber does have to do those drops to get back in the game, do you think it's better for herO to defend right now, or do you think he can take advantage of maybe Bomber has a couple Medivacs out on the map, he needs to go hit a timing or something like that?
It's so hard to say because a lot of it's going to come down to reactions, right? Like if you move out and see this Warp Prism, for example, come to the main, and all of a sudden you can't go drop anymore or do anything, right? So this is really unfortunate because you cannot ignore 4 Zealots. This is a lot of damage. I think he's warping some more as well. A couple of Vikings might clear up the Warp Prism, but in the process, he has to defend his natural.
Ooh, hero's kind of all over the place right now. He's attacking everywhere. Even though Bomber's only on 2 base, he's still managing to find openings.
Oh, some of that Warp Prism didn't die. That's really going to suck because the threat remains. But this fight in the Naturals, you have to be careful. Stalkers are so weak against Marauders, but still 13 SCVs died in the main while that was going on. Vikings had to land to start attacking the Zealots. I mean, he hasn't even revealed the Colossus yet. And there's going to be Storm! Kane!
Bomber's like super far behind right now. He's just going to get blind. Like, he knows that there's Colossus out because he's making Vikings, but there's going to be Storm, there's going to be Charge. Yeah, Bomber's in a really tough spot right now. He needs to do something. He can't just sit back like this and kind of hope that herO messes up. He needs to go out on the map and, like you said, drop or do something fancy to get back in this game.
It's not about fancy, it's about necessity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The thing, too, is, I mean, there are Terran players. Bomber's definitely one. Happy from Europe comes to mind for another. Like, there are players who can get away with fighting against Templar and never having ghosts, and that's okay. So it's not like Bomber's like getting auto-countered here, but the longer this game goes on, like his tech's going to keep falling behind, his supply's just going to struggle. He's pulling SCVs from the backside. He's very awkwardly pulled the boy. Because the hero's knowledge, he's pulling the boys with 4 Marauders, but he's the real army.
There's Storm, there's Colossus, there's Photon Overcharges. I don't see this ending incredibly well for Bomber.
But this is kind of his only move. Like, it's a Hail Mary pass that he has to make, because without this, he doesn't stand a chance in the game. Down in supply in a big way. His army value's actually not that lacking. The only problem is there's a lot of area of effect damage to the Protoss army. Storm's coming down the top of the bio. SCV's stuck within that time warp. They can't soak anything. He might clear out the Colossus, but is it going to matter at the end of the day if the bio dies to Zealots?
That's it. We see the GG, yeah.
All right, so herO, man, game number 1.
Oof. Oof. That was kind of a stomping, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just surprised that